I'm gonna share with you how to get rid of addiction effectively with no relapse and stay clean. This method already saved more than 15,000 people and counting. And this method is effective for opioids, alcohol, cocaine, amphetamine, gambling, sex, and compulsive spending. Every single time when you start recovery, the first step is always stopping using the substance of your choice, whatever it is. And then it's something like withdrawal coming, but it's something actually that we can avoid. I will explain how you can make your withdrawal very manageable without too much suffering, pain, and agony. So the reason why we want to use buprenorphine is because this is half antagonist. It's not strong enough to make you high, to make you dependent on this drug, but it's strong enough to manage your withdrawal. And if you use a patch, not injection, not pill, because pill and injection, they will create waves of protection. Sometimes you will feel better, sometimes you will worse. And what we want to do is very important word here, stability. You want to be stable all the way through the withdrawal. This is why you want to use only buprenorphine patch, because the patch, another word here, it's very easy to taper it down. You start with a full dose and gradually every single day this dose is reduced until you get very minimal dose, and the next day actually you don't need buprenorphine anymore and you become clean. After 24 hours not taking buprenorphine anymore, you will start feeling first symptoms of withdrawal, but it's going to be very minimal. A little bit like cold. It's not going to be unbearable pain. But there is something I'm going to talk about right now that will prevent relapse by completely reducing your cravings. And if you have been addicted, and if you know someone who have been addicted, you know that cravings, it's something that causes relapse all the time. And it's very difficult to get rid of addiction. People go through life 7 years to get clean and get rid of addiction and do not relapse anymore. The goal here is to explain how you can make this time shorter and how you can go through this without suffering, without cravings, without fighting every single day for survival. And the answer is naltrexone implant. Maybe you have heard about naltrexone, maybe not. I will explain what it is. It's basically 100% antagonist. It completely blocks your opioid receptors, so nothing can actually attach to your opioid receptors in your brain, which completely turns off cravings. Imagine the person who actually finish with addiction start getting these cravings on the next day after withdrawal have been managed, and very often after maximum 6-8 weeks that person actually starts using again. With naltrexone, this is extended to more than a year. That's how powerful it is. For many decades, naltrexone was available as a pill. The problem with the pill was that people didn't fill prescriptions and they've been stopped taking it because they felt too good too quickly and they felt like they don't need it anymore. They felt in a trap, they became vulnerable, and they started to use again. Then was a Vivitrol as an injection. There was also a problem because this Vivitrol injection wears off, and every month, every next injection, this protection with this injection is shorter. So there is a lot of gaps when you become vulnerable, and the people again start to relapse. But with naltrexone implants, you have this time and space to actually recover for longer than a year in many cases. Depends on the addiction. So let's actually look at what this naltrexone implant gives you. The first one, block your receptors. Nothing can attach. You cannot relapse. You cannot get high. You cannot think, or even you don't want to think about the substance of your choice. Even if you think about it, you don't feel anything. So you don't have these cravings. You don't have this pull to the substance of your choice. Better retention rate. Up to 85% of people who use naltrexone implants, they stay sober, they stay clean, and they do not relapse, which is actually huge because all the other methods, they actually have up to 80% relapse rate. So it's actually everything upside down. No depression. What does it mean? When your opioid receptors are blocked, your brain actually starts shifting into things that don't give a pleasure, but give happiness. Family, for example, which is huge. Cost effective. If we compare rehab, 28 days, which costs from $20,000 up to even $200,000, you go there only for 28 days, and after 28 days, you just by yourself with, again, cravings and you need to deal with it by yourself. It's actually very difficult. So even spending that much money within 28 days, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be clean. With naltrexone implant is different because after 48 hours, after implementation of this implant, after it's in your body, this implant works for another 15 months in some cases. So it's very cost effective. If we compare rehab to naltrexone, naltrexone financially wins all the way. Naltrexone implant actually supports things like a counseling because if you want to use counseling as a way to go through recovery, that's great because if you go to this appointment, actually instead sitting there and thinking how long you didn't use and when you're gonna use again. You basically calm, you at ease, and you actually focus on information that is provided by your counselor. It supports also motivation. You don't even have to be motivated. Still, this naltrexone is working and is going to help you. With the motivation during their recovery, it's very difficult because we're not always motivated. Motivation sometimes is high, sometimes it's low. With naltrexone, that doesn't really matter because you are protected anyway. Another thing, trigger management. During recovery, you might be triggered many times and you can relapse many times. With naltrexone, that doesn't happen. Even if you are around the substance of your choice, let's say alcohol, cocaine, heroin, any other opioids, you feel nothing. When you look at this, when you think about the substance of your choice, it's like thinking about grass or broccoli. It doesn't give anything. Even if you use, it doesn't do anything. Again, if you use even too much, and it normally would kill you, like kills a lot of people, it won't do anything. It will just go through your body and it will go out because your opioid receptors are completely blocked. And another, if you choose group sessions, that's actually also good. Naltrexone support that because if you go to this group, you don't sit there with anticipation like when I'm going to get out of here and use again because cravings are coming in. That doesn't happen. You actually sit there, you listen, you absorb information, and you apply it to your life. So, naltrexone implant is not available everywhere, but if you just text us or give a comment free, and we're gonna contact you and we are going to let you know how you can get access to naltrexone implant.